KVK has just ended and you got sent back to home kingdom. So what should you be doing in the KVK offseason? Join me to find out what you should not be missing. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. Today, we are going to be talking about a topic that people are always asking me about. And that is, what the heck do you do during the KVK offseason? And we all know KVK is one of the most exciting things in Rise of Kingdoms. It's 50-something days of fighting and gathering, and everyone in your kingdom is super active. But what always happens is as soon as KVK ends, you go back to the home kingdom and everyone's activity drops precipitously. But maybe it shouldn't. And today we're going to be talking about some of the things that you should be doing during the KVK offseason to set yourself up the best for KVK. And this includes some daily things that you should be doing, as well as just things that you might want to keep in mind as you prepare for the next KVK. So let's begin, shall we, with some of the most obvious ones. The first one is do your daily quests. This is such an easy way to get gems and to get all sorts of good benefits. You've got a bunch of keys here, and you should just do them every day. Not only that, but you do get a fair bit of resources and speed ups from this, and it's a really easy way to just stay engaged with the game. Not only that, but one of the things that you should absolutely be doing, and I am one of the people who probably skips this more than I should, is doing your travels. And no, it's not because you're going to get some spectacular armament. It's actually going to be because you can get these silver coins. And these silver coins you can then use to buy Transmutation Stones. And one of the things that I really love to do during the off season is just accumulate those. Because during KVK, you're going to want to refresh your armaments. You're going to want to make sure that they're in the best shape possible. And you're going to want to make sure that you get them really nice and polished. So if you have something like this, you may want to lock 2 of these skills. And transmuting that can be really expensive. And it's not one of those things that you can really just kind of wait and just do during KVK. Because honestly, you won't have enough of those coins. So be sure that you're doing your travels and your dispatches. I know it's kind of a nuisance, but you won't regret it when you do want to use those Transmutation Stones. That's a really big one. The other thing that I see people do all the time is not using your AP. You get a certain number of action points every day. They refresh. You probably get about 2 full things of AP every day, depending upon how frequently you play. And one of the best things that you can be doing with this is actually rallying forts. Because one of the hardest things that I've seen people miss is actually hitting this Lucerne Scrolls destroy 230 barbarian forts. Honestly, if you log in every day and you simply get the daily gift and you destroy all the forts and you get all these barbarians done and do your dailies, you'll easily get the Lucerne Scrolls, which honestly has some of the best rewards in the game. And say you don't want any of these boots, that's okay. The rewards are still worth it. You get a ton of gems, you get keys, you get expansions. This is one of the things that you should be focusing on in the off season. Another thing that people often miss is training troops, and not just any troops. Training the right troops. During KVK, you're expected to kill a lot of your troops, at least 1 million units. That tends to be the norm. The problem is, you may not have very many units. As you can see, I only have 2,500,000 units right now. Now, if I were to train all T5 units or T4 units every day, I would be well over my power cap. And my goal is to try and stay within my power cap because, again, I don't want KVK matchmaking to get all messed up. Now, if you watched another video of mine, you would know that training T3 units is actually one of the best things you could do in the offseason. 1, these don't take very long to train. And 2, you can easily upgrade your T3 units for a massive power boost if you want. Their power, I believe, is 3, whereas T5 is 10. So you get a 7 power uplift for each unit that you upgrade. But perhaps more importantly, if you watch the short that I'll link on the top right side of your screen for you, T3 units are the best way to get the best bang for your buck for training Bastion quests come KVK. And again, You don't really want to be speed training T3 because you're not getting a lot of power for them. You can do it during the speed up event, but this is one of those things that you might want to consider during KVK off season just to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck and setting yourself up for success once KVK comes. Now, this next thing is probably something that you're doing already, but I've forgotten about it. I'm sure you have in the past, and that is opening your legendary chests for your daily rewards here. And bear in mind, you don't have to go through and actually claim any of these commander sculptures if you don't want them. But you should be sure you're using this free open every single day because A, it accumulates, and B, there is a Crystal quest that will ask you to open 200 of these sovereign keys. And so if you're opening this every day, you can probably accumulate a bunch of these little tokens and use them for either gold heads or sovereign keys, depending upon which you want. But I always recommend opening this. It's a great way to get 10 free commander heads for whenever you're looking for it. Also, pro tip, if you go ahead and try and use this on a commander that you've already maxed, you will not get 10 sovereign keys. Gaines and I tried this, and it is a myth busted. Bummer, though. Now, that's not all. There are a few other things you really don't want to forget, and that is coming into your VIP shop every week. So every Sunday, I believe, the VIP shop will reset. And the main things you want to be buying here are your basic action point recovery. This is going to be what sets you up for success most going into KVK. Because again, killing barbarians for honor and for speed ups and materials is huge. So you want to be sure that you're setting yourself up for success buying these basic action point recoveries. You can also buy pretty much anything else that costs resources in here. A great one is this blueprint fragment choy chest, which is really nice, not because you actually want any of these, but because what you can actually do is once you've bought them, you can open whichever you want, and then you can come in here and actually recycle these blueprints. And you can see here, you actually get a fair number of reclaim points there, which you can then use to buy teleports, troop expansions, etc. Now, last but not least, you do want to be sure you're using your material production every day. Don't let this run out. That's going to be such a helpful thing for you in the long term. But there is something else that people always forget to do. And that is, you guys know what's coming, going through and using your farm accounts. Yes, farm accounts are important and you should be gathering before you go into KVK. My recommendation is honestly to make sure that you're using your farm accounts to make sure that you get as much gold as possible. All of the other resources you can probably pick up with your main account without too much difficulty, but use your farms for gold if you can. The other thing that you should be doing with your farms is training troops on them. If you missed one of my other videos on how to use your farms combatively, I'll be sure to link that up on the top right side of your screen for you. But this is a really big deal because if you can stuff flags with your farm troops, you can help make sure that your kingdom is way more successful in KVK. So be sure that you're training on your farms and that you're gathering on your farms. I know that it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it does pay off in the long term and it will help you out in KVK. Now, the other thing that you might want to be doing in the KVK offseason is doing the different events that pop up every day. And this is kind of tedious, especially if you're a busy person, but by going through and doing these, you can make sure you're getting the maximum amount of speed ups, materials, and gold heads. This includes Ark of Osiris. I know it's a terrible weekend event, but between KVKs, you probably have 5 to 6 Ark of Osiris's, depending upon how long it's going to take. And that can be 60 gold heads at least, which is huge. So definitely do that. Do not skip it. And do the weekend events and all the others because you will get the materials that you need. This will allow you to craft all the different commanders that you want. If you're going to be spending on daily chests, be sure you do that as well because those dailies will help you max commanders that you can then use during KVK. Hopefully this has been helpful and it's given you a little bit of excitement of things that you should be doing in the KVK off season. If it has, be sure to hit that subscribe button right over there and drop a like on the video. It helps me out a lot. And my goal is to help you do your best in Rise of Kingdoms. Thank you all. Shappy out.